Hello everyone, today we will have obstetric lecture and the topic is hydramniosis or polyhydramniosis. This is an abnormal pregnancy where there is excessive or increased level of amniotic fluid. Till now you should understand about the normal pregnancy. In normal pregnancy there is a live fetus with placenta, amniotic fluid, so that is the normal things. So whenever there is a growth of baby, there is presence and increase in the level of amniotic fluid also. This is the fluid which is very important for movement of baby. This fluid is nutritious for baby and this is also excretion of baby. So this amniotic fluid which is around the baby has multi-purpose role in baby's growth. So this amniotic fluid should be in normal quantity, like it is 600 to 800 ml in normal pregnancy. Up to 1 liter it can be considered, but if it is more than 2 liters or 2000 ml, then it is the abnormal condition. When it is less than 500 ml, again it is abnormal condition, because less amniotic fluid will cause suffocation of baby, hypoxia of baby, malnutrited baby, and growth retardation of baby, and ultimately decreased growth or death, intrauterine death of baby. So both the conditions which are related with either lowered level or decreased level of amniotic fluid and increased level of amniotic fluid, both the conditions are abnormal. So whenever there is increased level of amniotic fluid, that condition is hydramniosis, and when it is decreased, it is oligohydramniosis. That means lesser quantity of fluid. So polyhydramniosis, which is the increase in amniotic fluid level, which is more than 2000 ml or 2 liters in pregnancy. So that is the polyhydramniosis or hydramniosis. Now the incidence is about 2 to 3%. It is seen in pregnancy in about 2 to 3% females, because it is not the common condition and it is not actually the dangerous condition unless and until it is threatening for baby as well as mother. So 1 to 2% females are usually affected with this condition. So incidence is about 2% in normal pregnancy. Now the increased level of amniotic fluid is according to a week. Usually per week there is increased level of amniotic fluid. So totally about 900 ml if we considered, it is totally in 9 months. So 100 ml in per month should increase in normal pregnancy. But if it is more than this quantity, it is called as polyhydramniosis or hydramniosis. Usually it is up to 2000 ml, more than 2 liters in this condition. So it increases per month or per week during pregnancy. The gross average or this increased rate of this amniotic fluid is about up to 20 weeks. It is more than 300 ml, and after that it increases in that speed, and ultimately it increases more than 2 liters in total duration of pregnancy. So those are the average increase percentage of amniotic fluid. So now when we are considering this amniotic fluid, as we had discussed, this amniotic fluid is nutritive for baby. It provides the nutrients to baby. It also absorbs the excretory products from baby. It provides the space for fetal movement. It gives the protection for baby, as baby is safe in this amniotic fluid. So all these things are seen in this amniotic fluid. So it is very important for baby. But as we had discussed, it is secreted and it is excreted also. So whenever there is disproportion between secretion of amniotic fluid and absorption of amniotic fluid, that will leads to excessive production. In short, baby absorbs this fluid, baby excretes also this fluid. So whenever there is difficulty in baby's absorption, baby cannot absorb properly. So if there are disorders ruling baby's absorptive mechanism, that will leads to decreased level of baby's absorption. So ultimately this fluid level will increase. Whenever there is increased production of baby by excretion, excessive excretion or excessive urination from baby, ultimately this will also increase in the level of amniotic fluid. So decreased absorption, increased excretion. This is a simple phenomenon which is related for the increased level of hydramniosis, increased level of amniotic fluid. So basically fetal factors are responsible for amniotic fluid. Some maternal factors are also responsible for this increased level of amniotic fluid. So in etiology or in causes of hydramniosis, we will see this step by step. First one is maternal factor. So maternal factors are all the abnormal things in mother, like any major diseases like hypertension, diabetes, and any systemic disease, thyroid disease. So these are things which are related for the mother. In this condition, there is increased level of fluid. Multipara patients, twin pregnancy, age more than 40, some habits of drugs or alcohol, smoking, patients with family history of hydramniosis, patient with previous history of hydramniosis. So all these conditions, maternal conditions, are responsible for this hydramniosis. And fetal conditions which are responsible are mainly it is abnormal babies like anencephaly baby, where there is excessive production of this amniotic fluid. This is the common condition in anencephalic baby. Usually there is development of excessive amniotic fluid. Secondly, there is duodenal atresia of baby. There is congenital deformity in baby's duodenum. So baby cannot absorb the fluid properly. Third, it is open spina bifida of baby. Baby's meninges are open and there is constant secretion of this cerebrospinal fluid from this meninges. So CSF is constantly oozing. So that ultimately increases the level of fluid. Then some babies abnormal diseases like cleft lip, cleft palate, that all the helps for babies decreased level of absorption. So all these things are babies abnormalities we are seeing in this causes of hydramniosis. So also it is seen in multiple pregnancy when there are development of two babies, like we had seen in twin pregnancy. There is increased level of or increased excretion from both the babies, and that will increase the level of amniotic fluid. Also, if baby, one of the twin baby is abnormal with anencephaly or open spina bifida, again that will helps for the increased level of amniotic fluid. So twin pregnancy is the main factor. There are two babies in the pregnancy, also there is increased level of this amniotic fluid. So that condition is very serious. Now placental factors are also responsible for this. Usually choriocarcinoma or chorioangioma, this is the abnormal condition where there is secretion of fluid from placenta, and also this leads to increased level of fluid. So these are the main factors which are responsible for hydramniosis. So in short, hydramniosis is the condition which is developed due to some maternal factors like multiple pregnancy, age of mother more than 35 to 40, systemic diseases like diabetes, hypertension, thyroid diseases, then multipara patients, twin patients, previous history of hydramniosis, family history of hydramniosis, all these things, patient with habit of some alcohol, smoking, tobacco, etc. These are the maternal things which contribute for hydramniosis. Fetal things are fetal abnormalities, anencephaly baby, twin baby, open spina bifida baby, then duodenal atresic baby. These are the factors, fetal factors, and some placental factors like cancer of placenta or tumor of placenta. All these things are causing increased level of amniotic fluid. Also one thing is there is renal diseases of baby is also seen in some condition. Whenever baby have congenital renal disease, baby may have increased excretion, and because of that there is increased level of amniotic fluid. So all these are the causes of hydramniosis: maternal, fetal and placental, three heads of hydramniosis. So all these things contribute, and there is increased level of amniotic fluid. We call it as hydramniosis or polyhydramniosis. Now these are the causes. Now clinical features or types of hydramniosis. There are two types of hydramniosis clinically seen, that is acute hydramniosis and chronic hydramniosis. Acute hydramniosis develops suddenly. Within few days patient develops the increased level of amniotic fluid, and this is called as acute hydramniosis. Chronic hydramniosis is the condition which develops and it takes time, and from weeks to month it develops, and it is a slow developing disease. So acute hydramniosis and chronic hydramniosis, two types of hydramniosis. Now we will see acute hydramniosis, clinical features of acute hydramniosis. Acute hydramniosis is a condition, usually it is seen in hypertensive diabetic female, multipara females, and common seen with twin pregnancy. One of the baby from the twin usually develops some disease, renal disease, maybe a duodenal disease, or maybe open meninges and all. So there is constant increase in the level of this amniotic fluid, and it causes acute condition. So acute hydramnios develops within a few days, and so patient will complain of clinical features are suddenly patient have weight gain because of increased pressure on the abdomen. Patient have pressure symptoms like frequent urination, frequency to pass stool, then pain in abdomen, fullness sensation, palpitation, dyspnea, there is difficulty during breathing. So all these conditions, there is rapid development of edema, especially on lower legs. Usually edema develops because of this increased level of fluid. So these are the complaints of patient, and usually this is acute condition. This develops very fast, or this is very rapid condition, and usually patients are breathless in this. And usually this is seen after 20 weeks of pregnancy. So patient may have all these complaints along with nausea and vomiting, severe pain in abdomen, headache. All these things are seen. These are the symptoms from patient, and on examination, signs for acute hydramnios are the patient have general signs. Increased blood pressure is seen because of the increased fluid level. There is increased blood pressure, there is tachycardia, increased heart rate. So on general examination, all things are seen. Some patients are in shock, so signs of shock can be seen when there is severe pain, and if patient is breathless, we can find the signs of shock. Or else these things are seen: increased BP, increased heart rate, and increased pulse rate. This is general finding. Per abdomen, when we do the examination, on examination we see the increased level of or excessive growth or increased height of uterus. We expect the height of uterus according to month. If we know the weeks of pregnancy, say if it is 20 weeks pregnancy, 24 weeks pregnancy, so we have the standard chart or standard growth rate which is expected at that week. So if patient is of 24 weeks pregnant, the height of uterus should be below the umbilicus. If patient is at 28 weeks, it is just above the umbilicus. So there are standard heights of uterus. We will discuss that heights and charts of fundal height in ANC. So we have the standard rate of uterine or fundal height according to week. So in this condition, this increased level of fluid or this increased quantity of fluid which causes the abnormal increase in the uterine height. So abdomen or the uterus is proportionately very enlarged, it is increased, and this is very globular, and the girth is more at the umbilicus level. So huge enlargement of abdomen, or it is large for date uterus, we called it as large for date, means the corresponding height of uterus according to week is not matching, it is more than the expected height. So it is large for date uterus, it is more globular, skin of abdomen is tense, it is shiny, vessels can be seen, and the girth of abdomen is more at the umbilicus. So all these things are seen. There is presence of shifting dullness, there is presence of fluid thrill, all this we had discussed. Whenever there is excessive fluid, there is presence of fluid thrill and shifting dullness. So all these things are seen, and fetal parts are not easily palpable because of excessive fluid. Baby is not palpable. FHs are also not properly heard because of the increased level of fluid. We cannot palpate the baby, and we cannot have the proper FHs. If we do the PS examination, actually all these things are not mandatory because of increased level of fluid. Patient is already in tense condition, so PV examination is very difficult. But if we do the PS examination, the cervix is usually taken up, or it is increased in the height, and there is severe pain, tenderness, discharges can be seen sometime. So that is the PV examination. We do the immediate investigation, that is USG, ultrasonography, for knowing the exact quantity of amniotic fluid, and by doing USG we can know the exact increased level of fluid. So immediate investigation is USG, and by knowing the quantity of amniotic fluid we decide for the treatment. So that is acute hydramnios. Acute hydramnios is condition where there is rapid development of or rapid increase in the level of amniotic fluid within few days. This condition develops, seen in hypertensive diabetic females, twin pregnancy, and babies with some abnormality like anencephaly, open spina bifida. Clinical features are patient have breathlessness, palpitation, dyspnea, nausea, vomiting, headache, and pain in abdomen, increased pressure on the abdomen. So patient have desire to pass stool, urine frequently, and there is, as we said, backache may be seen because of increased level of fluid. discomfort sensation is seen. On examination, general signs are usually normal, but if severe pain and all, signs of shock. Otherwise, there is tachycardia, bradycardia, all these things are seen depending on the condition. Initially, there is increased pulse rate, increased BP, all these things are seen. For abdomen, there is tense, shiny skin of abdomen and vessels are prominent, and abdomen is unduly enlarged, it is more globular. Unduly enlargement, there is no proportionate enlargement of abdomen, and it is large for date. According to date, it is more increased or enlarged. Fetal parts are not easily palpable, FHS not easily heard. And PSPV examination not indicated. PS examination, cervix is usually taken up, but is increased in height, and investigation is USG. Now dealing with chronic hydramnios. Chronic hydramnios is a condition where there is development or increase in the level of amniotic fluid, but it is slow increase in the level of amniotic fluid. Usually this condition is usually this condition takes few months to develop the increased level of amniotic fluid. So it is chronic, it is slow development, slow progress. So that is the chronic hydramnios. Usually on examination, patient have, because this is chronic, it takes some time, so patient becomes used to all those things. Patient have the increased desire for passing stool, urine, patient have pressure complaints, patient have discomfort sensation, patient may have dyspnea, difficulty in breathing, but patient is usually becomes used to it as it is a chronic condition. So all these complaints are seen, but they are not that severe according to acute hydramnios. Those conditions in acute hydramnios were very severe. Patient suddenly develops the dyspnea and all those things, but in chronic, patient have dyspnea, patient have the palpitations, patient have abnormal sensation, discomfort in abdomen, increased pressure on the abdomen. But because of this chronic nature, patient becomes used to it. But still there are complaints. Patient have dyspnea, patient have edema on legs particularly, patient have headache, palpitations, pain in abdomen, increased pressure on the abdomen, patient have backache, difficulty in breathing as we had discussed. On examination, signs are again usually they are same. There is general signs are normal, but per abdomen, abdominal skin is tense, shiny, vessels are seen, abdominal girth is more than expected, and it is unduly enlargement, it is globular, girth is more at umbilicus, fetal parts are not easily palpable, FHS not heard clearly. So all these things are seen. And for diagnosis, as we had discussed, we do the ultrasonography for confirming the amount of amniotic fluid. So all these things we can do, and on sonography we see the exact amount of amniotic fluid. Now whenever there is increased level of amniotic fluid, as this condition is increased level of amniotic fluid, the problem is with this increased level of fluid, and because of this increased level of fluid, that causes problem to mother as well as it is causing problem to that baby also. There is decreased growth of baby in the uterus because of increased level of fluid. Baby don't have space to grow, so there is naturally decreased growth of baby. There may be problems due to congenital problems in that baby. So baby is usually retarded baby, baby with abnormal diseases. Sometimes because of this fluid, baby is suffocated, and there are chances of fetal death, intrauterine death of baby. So if this condition is not treated in the proper timing, it can cause the severe complications for mother also, and as well as for fetus also. So proper diagnosis is very important, and proper diagnosis can be done easily by clinically, also by USG. So clinically, how we can diagnose this patient? Clinically, whenever there is increased height of uterus more than expected period, we can think of either twin pregnancy or hydramnios. Twin pregnancy can be easily excluded as there is development of two babies. We can palpate two babies in twin, but in hydramnios there is single baby. So we should think of clinically whenever there is increased level of this abdomen, we should think of twin pregnancy, hydramniosis. We should also think for any abnormal disease in pregnancy. Usually it is cyst, ovarian cyst in pregnancy, uterine fibroid in pregnancy. So all these things we have to exclude. According to doing the investigation by USG, we can exclude all the other things, whether it is hydramniosis or it is associated with any other abnormal disease during pregnancy. So So whenever there is increased height of uterus during pregnancy, we should think of, first is twin pregnancy, second is uterine fibroid, third is ovarian cyst or any other tumor in abdomen, ascites. So all these things we should think, and we should clear the things according to USG. When we confirm that it is a hydramnios, we can see according to USG the amount of increased level of fluid, how it is increased, and the quantity of amniotic fluid we can see on the USG. So after confirmation of diagnosis, we have to start for treatment. Unless and until there is no problem for mother as well as for that baby, we don't have to do any active treatment. We should advise for bed rest for that mother and careful watching on that increased level of fluid. By doing repeated USG, we have to watch the level of fluid per week or per month depending on the increased level. We have to check those things. If there is increased level of fluid, increased level of amniotic fluid, then we have to do some active treatments, like in that first one is amniocentesis, that is removal of amniotic fluid. Under the USG guidance, usually we detect the amniotic fluid proper site, we see the fetal location, placental location, and then we puncture the we insert the plastic syringe. Usually we use the spinal needle which is used for the anesthesia, spinal anesthesia, which we insert in the abdominal cavity under the guidance of USG. By USG, we see the location of baby, location of placenta, or else we can damage the baby or placenta. So under the guidance of USG, we insert the spinal needle. For this needle, catheter is attached, and it is attached to the glass bottle, and we remove the amniotic fluid, 100 ml, 200 ml, 300, depending on the increased level of fluid, we remove the amniotic fluid. Sudden removal of fluid can also cause the hypovolemic shock like condition to patient. So we calculate the fluid level, what quantity should be removed, and then we remove this amniotic fluid. Repeated sessions can be advised for this amniocentesis. Per week or per month we can remove this fluid according to the increased level of fluid, and this can be repeated. And by doing this amniocentesis or removal of amniotic fluid, we can see the growth of baby, the condition of mother. If all these things are in favorable condition or all the things are normal, we can advise for the continuation of pregnancy. If not, if by doing this amniocentesis also there is rapid increase in the level of amniotic fluid, which is causing the problem for baby as well as for the mother. If patient is not responding, sudden increase may cause dyspnea, severe dyspnea to her. Patient becomes breathless, patient have the shock symptoms. So at that condition, we have to terminate this pregnancy by doing artificial induction of labor. We should terminate that pregnancy. So that is that is called as artificial induction of labor, and vaginal delivery is tried or else cesarean is done. If baby is if this condition is after 28 weeks, baby can be saved if baby is normal and proper growth is there. By pediatric care, there are the chances for baby's well-beingness. Otherwise, chances of fetal death are more common because the preterm labor or premature things are seen. So complications of this condition are premature labor, preterm labor, PROM, premature rupture of membrane, IUD, intrauterine death of baby, or growth retarded baby, IUGR babies. So all these are the complications related with hydramnios. Maternal complications are expected. If patient is severe breathless, patient may go in shock, patient may have because of amniocentesis, patient may have intrauterine infection, so septicemic shock. So these are the complications of mother as well as fetus. So careful investigation during pregnancy is very important. If we treat this condition in time, hydramnios can be settled. If not, that can lead to death of fetus as well as mother. So that is hydramnios or polyhydramnios.